Happy Tuesday, everybody! I'm back! But this time, my lovely guest for this Author Talk Short is Doug Lawrence. So, Doug, tell us a little bit about the genre you write in and how that pivotal moment happened for you where you're like, you know what, I'm going to write and I'm going to write this book. What was that like for you?
So the genre that I'm in is somewhat unique in that it's very much focused on the aspect of mentoring and mental health. So there's overtures of both that are in there, and how this all came to be. It actually goes back to my very first book that I wrote, which was The Gift of Mentoring, and what it was all about was sort of the basic mentoring 101, and it gave people sort of the idea of the process, the concepts, all of those things that if you want to get into the field of mentoring, that's what you need to be able to do. And how that came to be was there was a number of my colleagues, mentors, whatever term you want to use to refer to them. They basically had said, gee, Doug, you should write a book. Look at all this content that you've got. You've been posting blogs
Nice.
and all sorts of stuff. So, write a book. It's simple. Just write a book. Sure, it's simple. All right.
Yeah, I bet.
So we
that.
go. Yeah, I was just going to say that, I did that, and then I got bitten by the bug again, so to speak, in that when it came to You Are Not Alone, I had people that came forward again and said, you're working with people that are struggling with mental health. Why don't you tell the story? Why don't you write a book about mental health and mentoring? And so I did some more research, and I found that there was a place for mentoring in the support structure for mental health. And I built the book based on that premise. So You Are Not Alone has some of my stories in it. So some of my lived experience where I ended up with post-traumatic stress as a result of my time in the RCMP and the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. And I expanded on that and how that impacted me, and it actually impacted those around me. And so that story is contained within that book, as well as the stories or the experiences of 5 absolutely wonderful individuals who volunteered to tell their story, and we captured that in You Are Not Alone as well.
Nice. I really love the title of that. You Are Not Alone, because it very much resonates,
Yeah.
I feel like, with a lot of people. And a side note, thank you so much for your service that you endured and that you went through, because I'm sure that you have many a story that you can tell from that 100%, right? But I love how you had people telling you to write a book. Like, you were so influential in your blog post, and you were really helping people that they were like, oh, you should write a book. It's simple, right? Now, like me and you both chuckled because we both know that publishing a book is not a simple task at all. And putting it together is just as hard, right? So I love it. But I love that it like ignited something in you where you wanted to write another book, and you have your stories and some other folks' stories in there too, which I appreciate. And the title of it is just, that is the best fitting title, Doug. Like, You Are Not Alone is perfect. So I would love to know, was that just something you're just like, oh, this is what we're going to title it, and this is how we're doing it? Or was it like back and forth? What was it like? Because that is spot on, Doug. It's great.
It was a conversation that took place, and it was kind of the back and forth that you've alluded to already. But it was, geez, what are we gonna what's the title of the book going to be? And I forget, somebody said, well, You Are Not Alone. And I went, no, really? And I just kept playing that over and over and over in my mind. And that's how it came to be, You Are Not Alone. And then the colleague of mine that designed the book cover based on, we just kept throwing ideas, and he designed the book cover, and it captures the essence of being on a journey by yourself, but you're not on the journey by yourself.
Yeah.
And the book has, the image of a person, and then 2 shadows right behind which basically allude to the fact that you are not alone. And so very, very, it's a very powerful picture. And what even makes it even a lot prettier picture is right center at the top is the Amazon #1 bestseller.
I love that. And I was totally going to jump into that. I love that. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Because I feel like your book could really make a difference in a lot of people and can really help, and from like a mental state, because a lot of times when you're going through like depression or things like that, you really do isolate and you feel like you're alone. And so here you are not alone is your title of your book. You're a #1 Amazon bestseller. So I know that book is out there impacting and really resonating with people. And so what was that? Because it's your second book. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So, oh my gosh, your second book and it's already like a #1 bestseller. So what was that like for you? I would just, I don't know, I would be over the moon and I would lose it and I'd just be like, oh my gosh, that kind of thing. But what was that like for you to kind of see all the hard work go into it to reach its potential,
Well, it was, I didn't get there by myself. I had lots of people, Mickey, who's my publicist, stood by my side the whole time on this whole journey. I had lots of people that were fulfilling roles that I had no clue that we had to do that sort of stuff. So, from my perspective was, well, I'll write the book and then you folks figure out what else comes after that. And that was somewhat how it sort of materialized, but this was not in the plan for the book. Even the idea of, trying to get the book to a place where it would be recognized as #1 wasn't in all I wanted to do was write a book that was going to help people and to get the book out there. And, same as with the gift of mentoring, I gave away every copy that I ever had printed.
Yeah.
And people said, you should be making some money for doing this. And I said, that's not why I did it. And it's the same with You Are Not Alone. I went, do you want to do this again? And I went, it's not whether you want to or not, but you must.
Yeah.
You need to get that story out there. And Doug, you need to lay the foundation for yet another book, because there's another one, that is coming.
Nice. See, I love that, Doug. That is just a beautiful answer. You would give away the copy, of your first book just because it was all about just helping people. It was never about making money or anything like that, right? And I think that that's such a beautiful intention to have behind your book. And that's why your book is so successful, because you just want to help people, right? And if that means, telling some of your stories in here and some of your colleagues' stories also in here, I think is, what people need. And it's really resonating with people. And so congratulations on being a bestseller, but congratulations more on helping people and getting it out there to help people so they don't feel alone, right? I think that is just like the most beautiful thing and the best answer that I love you, Doug. I love you. Like that's just, I want to hug you because that's so great. Because, you can go down different avenues where you're like, I'm going to write this book and I'm going to make a ton of money and I'm going to have a movie and all of that. And you're just like, well, let's start low. Like, I don't know, let's anchor it back a little bit. But you just went in there wanting to help people. And I have the utmost respect for you for doing that. And so, to write some of your own stories, which I'm sure was incredibly difficult. I know if I tried to write some as raising 2 terrorists in my house at the moment, because I have 2 toddlers, it would be very difficult. Okay. So I commend you. And it is such a beautiful thing that you're doing. And so I'm so honored and grateful that you wanted to be a part of the 12 Days of Patreon. I feel like I'm like, I love this. This is just such a beautiful thing. I'm so humbled by it. And I truly am just very appreciative that you wanted to be a part of the 12 Days of Patreoners this year. You're going to be on December 5th. So I'm really looking forward to it because we have an awesome lineup for December 5th. I'm so excited for it. But I know that you're going to be offering some kind of holiday promotion that we're going to talk about on that day. But what is some hints or teasers that you can give us about what book or promotion you're going to be offering?
Well, what we've been talking about today, all of the things we've mentioned and all of that will become a lot clearer on the 5th.
Oh, I love it. It's alluring and I want to know more, Doug. I want to know more. I love it. Your answers are just amazing. I need you to coach me, Doug, because those are great. I love it. Mentor me. Mentor me.
I could do that. I could do that.
I love it. I love it. But you mentioned a little bit earlier, you kind of Easter egg hunted in there that you have more books to come, or at least one more to come. So what is your writing style? Are you a pantser? You a plotter? Do you just write, from remembering and kind of reliving those moments? What is your writing style?
A lot of it is lived experience, so sharing the lived experience. But I stumbled across a different technique that I wish now that I would have utilized quite a long time ago. And how it came to be was that I was on a podcast, and at the end of the podcast there, I sat back and I went, oh, I wish I would have captured all of that stuff. So I went to the host of the podcast and said, can I have the audio file from your show? And could I turn that into written and include it as part of my book? And they said, well, send the file to you right away. And
Nice.
so I added that to the book. And what it made me realize was when I sit in front of my laptop and I'm trying to do more than one thing at a time. So I'm trying to write on, typing away on the keyboard and formulating ideas. I should not be doing anything like that. What I need to be doing is, and this has started to really work for me, is I need to talk and record it, then get it send it off to, there's a couple different platforms you can go to that'll take audio and translate it into the written word for you. I should have been doing that a long time ago, and that's what I'm starting to do now. And it's so much easier to be able to talk my way through different things. Because actually, at the towards the end of this next book, I have a little section called Musings by Doug.
Oh, okay.
And so I'm just going to unload everything that, because this particular book, its title is going to be The Silent Pandemic. And so it speaks to mental health, mental challenges, sort of taking a back seat during the COVID time. But what's also is that there's been so much grief that has happened because of COVID and a number of other things that people need more help. If people needed help, they need more help today than they've ever needed before, just because there's all the death that has happened because of COVID. But not only that, it's opened our eyes to some of the other things as well, like the number of people that are passing away because of cancer, and that's a pandemic by itself. But no, it's just become a fact of life for a lot of people. And so with this, The Silent Pandemic, with that book, that's to be able to start to raise awareness, from the aspect of, this is what's going on, and we've sort of kind of put it off to the side, and we can't do that any longer. So, and I know so many people that are suffering, from a loss of a loved one, that's what this book is intended to do, is to give hope that, you're going to just reach out and ask for help, reach out and ask someone to spend some time with you, to listen and hear what it is that, to tell your story, and to be able to listen and hear and be non-judgmental with all of that. So that's where that book is coming from.
I love it. I think it's definitely something that was needed. I think definitely with COVID and everything, it's something that the people are struggling with, and it has changed. So many things have changed since coming out of COVID and all of that. And so it's definitely, people are struggling with that and dealing with loss, or, their own mental health when everything was on lockdown, or, things like that. And I like that every book that you write has a purpose, and it's resonated towards a certain, not type of person, but a certain issue that amassed majority of people are dealing with. And I think that that's important because there is power in words, right? Especially in the written word. And so I am a huge believer in that. So I'm so honored and humbled, and thank you so much for coming on an Author Talk Short to talk to me, but even more for joining me December 5th, the 12 Days of Page Turners. If you guys want to hear about Doug's promotion that he's running, make sure you join in because he's going to be on December 5th. But until then, you guys, we will catch you all on another Author Talk Short. Bye, everybody.